Hi, my dear. This is Dr. Jocelyn, a urologist for over 15 years. And today I'm going to reveal 5 nuts that naturally boost testosterone and 3 that destroy everything and you need to avoid right now. If you feel that your energy is not the same anymore, if your disposition has dropped, if your libido has decreased, if your belly is growing even without you eating that much, pay attention to this video until the end, because what I'm going to show you can completely change your quality of life. My dear, the problem is not you. Let me tell you something very straightforward. This drop in energy, strength, and willpower that you are feeling after 50 years is extremely common. Millions of Brazilians go through this. You are not alone. I hear this every day in my consultations. Men look at me and say, "Doctor, I'm not the same anymore. I get tired easily. I don't have that same disposition anymore." Tired agreement even after sleeping. And do you know what I tell them? That this is not destiny, that the body still works, but it needs the right nutrients. And what almost no one tells you is that this starts on the plate. Most doctors will quickly offer you a medication, hormone replacement, something more complex. And look, sometimes that is necessary, yes. But before jumping to that, we need to look at the basics. We need to look at what you are putting into your body every day. Because if you are feeding your body the wrong nutrients, or worse, if you are eating things that lower testosterone, no medication will work properly. Now let me explain the silent signs of low testosterone, because many people think testosterone is just about sex, right? Testosterone affects everything in a man's body. It affects energy, disposition, muscle strength, concentration, mood, sleep. When testosterone is low, you feel constant fatigue. You wake up and it feels like you haven't slept. You become discouraged, lacking the desire to do things. Your belly starts to grow, even though you're not eating more than before. Sleep gets worse, you wake up several times, and you lose that initiative, that desire to pursue things, to go after them. This isn't laziness, my dear. This is biochemistry. This is your body warning you that it's lacking hormonal fuel. And the good news is that you can do a lot to improve this naturally, starting with your diet. Now let me explain why everything seems more difficult after 50. The body changes, that's true. Natural testosterone production begins to decline, but that doesn't mean the body stops functioning. Quite the opposite. It's like an older car. It still runs perfectly, but it needs better fuel, more careful maintenance, and attention to detail. If you take good care of it, it will take you far. If you neglect it, it starts to fail. Hormonal production naturally declines with age, but it responds to the right stimuli. And one of the most powerful stimuli is nutrition. What you eat every day provides the raw materials that the body uses to produce hormones. If you don't provide those raw materials, the body has no way to produce enough testosterone. And here's the mistake I constantly see in my office. Many men think that food does not influence hormones. They believe that hormones are just genetics, just age, just medication. And then they eat anything without paying attention. They drink soda, eat industrial junk, don't care about nutrients, and then are surprised when the test shows low testosterone, when energy plummets, when nothing works right. I had a 60-year-old patient who came to my office with a test showing testosterone levels very low. And when I asked him about his diet, do you know what he told me? That he ate bread with margarine for breakfast. He had whatever he could grab for lunch and had instant noodles or snacks for dinner. 0 vegetables, 0 fruits, 0 nuts, 0 good fats. And he thought the problem was just his age. It wasn't. The problem was that his body didn't have the necessary raw materials to produce hormones. Because look, hormones don't just appear out of nowhere. They are built with raw materials. Just like you can't build a house without bricks, you can't produce testosterone without the right nutrients. And what are those nutrients? Zinc, magnesium, selenium, good fats. And guess where you can find all of this in a concentrated and natural form? In the right nuts. Now let's understand the science behind this in a very simple way without complications. Where is testosterone produced? In the testicles. And the testicles need specific nutrients to function properly. It's like a factory. If you don't send the raw material, the factory doesn't produce. It's that simple. You can't build a house without bricks. Without zinc, without magnesium, without good fats, you don't produce enough testosterone. And here is the medical basis, the science behind it. Zinc is essential for testosterone production, magnesium too. Selenium participates in various hormonal reactions, and good fats are the direct fuel because testosterone is produced from cholesterol. That's right, good cholesterol is raw material for hormones. So when you eat good fats, you are literally giving your body the material it needs to manufacture testosterone. And this is where nuts come in. Nuts are concentrated in all these nutrients. They have zinc, magnesium, selenium, good fats, all together. They are like a complete package of hormonal support. But there is an important detail. Not all nuts work the same way, and some, if consumed incorrectly, have the opposite effect. They destroy testosterone, increase inflammation, and make you gain belly fat. Now the role of zinc and magnesium. Deficiency of these minerals is extremely common in Brazil. I see low test results all the time. And do you know why? Because the typical Brazilian diet is poor in these nutrients. White rice, beans, meat, pasta, all of this is important, but it doesn't provide enough zinc and magnesium. And when these minerals are low, hormonal production plummets, energy drops, sleep worsens, and the body doesn't function properly. Zinc and magnesium directly support testosterone production. They participate in the chemical reactions that convert cholesterol into hormones. Without them, the process becomes slow and inefficient. It's like trying to start an engine without a battery. It doesn't work. And now let's talk about fat. Because many people are still afraid of fat. They think fat makes you gain weight, that it's harmful. But good fat is not the villain. Good fat is hormonal fuel. Testosterone comes from good cholesterol. It's basic science. If you don't eat good fats, where will the body get the raw materials to produce hormones? An engine without oil can't function. A body without good fats doesn't produce hormones. And here's an important warning. A fat-free diet lowers hormones. I see men who cut all the fat from their diet thinking they will lose weight and become healthy. And what happens? Testosterone plummets, energy drops, libido disappears. Because the body needs fat to function, but it needs the right fat in the right amount. And here's another crucial point, the right amount versus excess. Because look, nuts are healthy food, yes, but healthy food in excess becomes a problem. I had a patient who started eating nuts thinking that the more the better. He ate nuts all day long. For breakfast, as a snack, after lunch, before bed. Result, he gained a belly, gained weight, and testosterone remained low. Why? Because excess calories generate abdominal fat. And abdominal fat produces an enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen. In other words, it backfired. Moderation is key. It's no use eating a huge handful of nuts thinking it will solve everything. It has to be in the right measure. And I will show you exactly what that measure is. Now that you understand where testosterone is produced, why zinc and magnesium are essential, why good fat is hormonal fuel and not a villain, and why quantity matters just as much as quality, let me show you the 5 testosterone-friendly nuts that you should be eating every day. And even more importantly, what are the 3 nuts that destroy everything and that you need to avoid right now? Because there is a mistake that most men make without knowing, and this is completely sabotaging hormonal production. Now, full attention, because here comes the most important part. Let's talk about the 5 testosterone-friendly nuts, the ones you should be eating every day in the right amount. The first and most powerful of all, Brazil nut. This one is the champion. It is extremely rich in selenium, which is an essential mineral for hormonal production and for testicular health. Selenium protects cells, improves sperm quality, and directly supports testosterone production. But be careful. The correct dose is 1 unit per day, just 1. No more than that because excess selenium is harmful, it can be toxic, it can cause hair loss, nail problems, even nausea. So the rule is clear. 1 Brazil nut per day in the morning or afternoon, and that's it. This already gives you all the selenium you need for the entire day. The second and third, walnuts and almonds. These 2 are excellent sources of good fats and magnesium. Walnuts also have omega-3, which is anti-inflammatory and helps with circulation. And good circulation is essential for everything in a man's body, including sexual function. The correct dose of walnuts is 3 to 4 units per day. You don't need more than that. And almonds, a small handful, about 6 to 8 units, can be for a morning or afternoon snack. The extra benefit of these 2 is that they support blood vessels, improve blood flow, reduce inflammation, and help the heart. So, in addition to supporting testosterone, you also protect the cardiovascular system. It's a complete health package. Now comes one that almost every Brazilian consumes, but usually in the wrong way, Cashew. Cashew nuts are an excellent source of zinc and magnesium, but most people eat roasted, salted, processed cashews. This way, they lose a good part of the benefits and also add excessive sodium, which increases blood pressure and worsens circulation. The correct way to consume cashews is natural, without salt, without sugar, lightly roasted at most. The serving size is a small handful, about 6 to 8 units per day. And the fifth, pistachios. Many people forget about these, but they are rich in zinc, good fats, and also contain protein. They are great for providing energy, supporting muscle mass, and supplying the minerals that the testicles need. The correct way is without salt, without caramelized shells, natural or lightly roasted. The serving size is a small handful of 6 to 10 units. When I adjust my patients' nut consumption, many tests improve within weeks. It's not a miracle, it's proper nutrition. It's giving the body what it needs to function. But now comes the serious warning, and I need you to pay close attention to this, because here, most men make mistakes without knowing. There are 3 nuts, or 3 ways to consume nuts, that completely destroy testosterone and cause inflammation in the body. This is not terrorism. This is medical reality. Here we go. The first and worst of all, industrialized peanuts. Look, peanuts themselves are not bad, but the peanuts that most people consume are the worst possible. Those salted peanuts, fried in bad vegetable oil, full of preservatives, that you buy in a bag at the market or at the bar. Those peanuts are an inflammation bomb. The oil used for frying is usually of very poor quality, full of oxidized omega-6 that inflames the body. And chronic inflammation in the body increases the production of an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. In other words, you eat thinking you are consuming protein, but in reality, you are destroying your male hormone. If you want to eat peanuts, let them be natural, roasted at home, without oil, without salt, and even then in moderation. But eliminate industrialized peanuts, fried, salted, from your life. The second, caramelized nuts. Those nuts covered in sugar, caramelized honey, chocolate. My dear, that is not healthy food, that is candy. Excess sugar spikes insulin. High insulin increases abdominal fat, and abdominal fat, as I have already explained to you, produces aromatase that converts testosterone into estrogen. Moreover, sugar feeds inflammation in the body, worsens insulin resistance, destroys metabolism. If you want to take care of testosterone, stay away from caramelized nuts. Eat pure, natural nuts without any sugar. And the third, which may surprise you, excessive daily nuts. Look, even good nuts, if you eat too much, become a problem because nuts are caloric, have fat, have protein, have carbohydrates. If you eat a giant handful every day, you will gain weight. And gaining weight increases abdominal fat. And abdominal fat destroys testosterone. It's a vicious cycle. I've seen patients eating 200 grams of nuts a day thinking they were doing good for their health. And what happened? They gained 5 kilograms in 2 months. Their belly grew and testosterone remained low. Why? Because the caloric excess generated more fat and the fat generated more estrogen. The rule is simple: moderation. A small handful of mixed nuts per day is enough. There's no need to overdo it. Quality, not quantity. Now let's organize this into a simple routine that you can follow every day without complication. How to consume nuts the right way. Look, small amounts every day at the right time. My practical suggestion is as follows. Set aside a small container with your mix of nuts. 1 Brazil nut, 3 walnuts, a small handful of almonds or cashews, and that's it. This is enough for the whole day. You can eat this with breakfast or as an afternoon snack between 3 and 5 p.m. That's a great time because you still have time to use that energy, those nutrients, before the body enters nighttime rest mode. What you should not do is eat a huge handful of nuts at night before sleeping, because then you are overloading the body with calories at a time when it should be relaxing and resting. And here's an important warning: never eat nuts in excess at night. It disrupts sleep, overloads digestion, and can cause weight gain. But just that won't work miracles, my dear. Nuts alone won't solve everything. You need the complete combo: the right nuts, plus quality sleep, plus reduced sugar in the diet. I see this all the time in my clinic. When the patient sleeps better, everything improves. Testosterone rises, energy returns, mood improves, the body recovers. And how to improve sleep? Simple tip. Try to sleep before 11 p.m. This time is important because it's when the body produces the most growth hormone and when testosterone is synthesized the most during the night. If you go to sleep at 1 or 2 in the morning, you miss that hormonal production window. And then it doesn't help to eat nuts, it doesn't help to take supplements, it doesn't help at all. The body needs quality sleep to produce hormones and reduce sugar. Seriously, soda, sweets, excess white bread, all of this spikes insulin, and high insulin is the enemy of testosterone. The more insulin you produce throughout the day, the harder it becomes to maintain testosterone at good levels. So, do the basics. Swap soda for water, swap white bread for whole grain bread or tapioca, avoid sweets every day, and you will see the difference. And now the most important message I, Dr. Jocelyn, want to pass on to you, my dear. Your body still responds. You are not too old. You are not done. You haven't lost the ability to produce hormones. What happened is that you weren't giving your body what it needs, but now you know. Now you have the information. Now you can change. Always remember, this does not replace a medical consultation. If you have severe symptoms, if testosterone is very low in the test, if you can't get an erection at all, if your energy is zero, even when doing everything right, seek a urologist. You may need hormone replacement, or there may be some other issue that needs to be investigated. But for most men, adjusting diet, improving sleep, and consuming the right nutrients makes a huge difference. So today, I want you to go to the market and buy these nuts. Brazil nuts, walnuts, almonds, natural cashews, natural pistachios. Set aside a little container and tomorrow morning eat a small handful with your coffee. Do this every day, and in 2 to 3 weeks, you will start to notice a difference. More energy, more disposition, better mood. This is your body responding to the right nutrients. Taking care of testosterone is taking care of your quality of life, your strength, your vitality, your willingness to live. You deserve this. You deserve to feel good in your own body, regardless of age. If this video helped you, leave a comment below saying, "I will adjust my diet," so I know you are committed to your health. And subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, because I will continue bringing practical, honest, science-based information for you to take care of your health in a natural and accessible way. I'll see you in the next video. Until then.